I'm in my Morticia Adams chair, and I have
I
my
love that
Freddy
chair.
Krueger sweater on.
You're ready for Halloween.
Yeah, I wanted to wear my Morticia Adams dress, but I couldn't find it. So I'm in the. Oh,
Someone just came in and booked a full set of eyelashes.
that's great.
I know. That never happens. I was like, okay, it's great. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully it'll happen more often. You're in Little Rock?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess you don't really know the trends there yet because you're how long you've been there for a month? Two
Yeah.
months? Month and a
Yeah.
half?
Like
Yeah.
a month and like a month and a half, I guess. I moved in September
Yeah.
1st. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Great.
well, I mean, and I just need to be here. I need to be here all the time because it's people that live here, you know? I mean, so
Yeah.
she was on her lunch break and she was like, "Oh, I just wanted to stop in and see if I could get some eyelashes today." I was like, yeah, I can make it."
Yeah, I have a acne facial kind of similar. The guy's mom comes to me and got a facial. She's been coming to me, which is really great. And she got a facial just this week and scheduled her son a facial.
Yay!
So yeah, I'm
I love
excited
that.
to get a new appointment, a new client is always fun.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know it is. I'm loving it. Like I love meeting all these new people and hearing new stories. I was gonna ask you about the movie. How did it go?
My audition yesterday. Good,
Yeah.
good. I had a callback audition from that. We were talking a couple months, about a month ago. Well, it was like a month and a half ago about I got an audition for a mom, an
Yeah.
Arkansas mom. And I thought when I submitted for it, I thought I don't really normally submit myself for things, but when I saw that come across and I saw the description, I was like, well, I fit that to a T. So,
Yeah.
late 40s, Arkansas mom has a child that's a performer. It's like all these things. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna audition for this. So I auditioned, I tape in, and I got a call back. So yesterday I did a Zoom. Yeah, I had to memorize two scenes, and it was good. It was fun. It was really neat. I won't know for another couple of days if I got it or not. So it's just cool to have a call back.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Anybody that's done any acting, it's kind of like that it's almost as good as getting the part when you get the call. I mean, getting the part's obviously better, but
Yeah.
getting a call back, they're like, well, at least they like me enough to see me again and consider me.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
I
so
think
that was
that's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't film in Arkansas, it films here. It's a short film. It's not like a big feature film or anything like that. But if I do get to be in it, I would love to bring it to the El Dorado Film Festival. That would be really fun in February if they want to see it. It would be kind of cool. And
Yeah.
then I don't know, we'll see. See.
Cool. I love
Yeah.
that. That is so cool. As an Arkansas mom, that is
Uh-huh.
crazy.
Worked out perfect. Last weekend we were so busy. Olivia and I went to Son of Monsterpalooza and worked that event, which was really fun. Got to hang out with all those cool guys. So weird. I found myself like at one point backstage with all three of the Jasons from the Jason horror film in a dark theater, in a dark stage, and realizing I'm in the back of this theater with some of the most iconic actors of all time, like from the character Jason. And they're just like goofy, funny guys, like they're so
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
So that was kind of fun.
That's
I
really
kind of
cool.
That was a fun way to kick off the like Halloween season, going
Yeah, for sure.
be around all the makeup artists and got to hang out with some really cool people. So I was in charge of the little section of Son of Monsterpalooza that had Billy Zane's table, and he has a new film coming out called Waltz with Brando, where he plays Marlon Brando, and the makeup in that
Okay.
is incredible. So that was so cool to see and hear him talk about, which was very
Yeah.
interesting. And then also we had Terry Kisser from Weekend at Bernie's. He had his table there. So it was fun to see. And he's so sweet and so like personal. And of course, everybody recognizes him. They're just like, oh my
Oh,
gosh, Weekend at
wow.
Bernie's. Because he still looks the same. It's so crazy. And then
Wow.
also Kane Horder, or Kane Hodder, his table. And he's really sweet. He was one of the Jasons from several of the movies.
Cool.
And yeah, so it's fun. We had a great time. Just,
Yeah.
and we were kind of like
How'd you find out about that? Like, how did you get involved with that?
the school that I went to for makeup, cinema makeup school here in LA, I get a job
Yeah.
listing that comes out like once or twice a week. And when that came out, I was like, oh, that would be so much fun. And Olivia, I'm sure would like to volunteer and do that. She needs some volunteer hours for school. They have to do so many volunteer hours, and she's in the arts and loves all of that. So and loves Halloween. And it's very much so monster themed, even though there's lots of different types of actors there. It's definitely more that horror feel to it. There's
Yeah.
monsters walking around and people in scary makeup and people getting their makeup like models, like very professionally done with the prosthetic pieces and all that. And
Cool.
some really cool makeup artists were there, and it was just really, really cool. But yeah, so I just submitted for it and was able to get that to work on that. So definitely a really cool avenue for any makeup artists out there that are looking for, a way to some things fit in their portfolio, ways to meet people. Those
Yeah.
conventions are it's another convention, really nice to
That's
get
so
involved with.
cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It was fun.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. I wonder if there's anything local here that I could get a list for, stuff like that. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I know that they do have them kind of all over. There's some in Oklahoma, but I don't know if any in Arkansas specifically. So,
Gotcha.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, are you ready to get going with our episode
I'm ready.
for our very spooky episode?
I think this one's perfect for this time of year.
Welcome to Pretty Smart 2, where beauty meets brains and sometimes terror. This week, we dim the lights and step into the waxing room, where smooth skin comes at a scary price. We share real horror stories of Brazilian waxes gone horrifyingly wrong. So grab your tea and cross your legs. It's about to get hair-raising. You've been warned. Now join us on our 13th episode of Pretty Smart 2.
So, hi, I'm Brandy Kyle, and I am a licensed cosmetologist. I own Kyle and Company Lash and Skin Studio in El Dorado, Arkansas, as well as the spa at Rockwater in Little Rock, Arkansas. And I've been doing this about 10 years.
And hello, I am Laura Barrow. I'm a licensed esthetician, and I own a skincare boutique here in Pasadena, California called Laura Barrow Aesthetics. And I've been in the beauty industry for a little over 20 years now.
Wow.
Welcome to Pretty Smart 2, where Laura and Brandy are going to spill the tea on all things scary and spooky themed today for the Halloween season.
Yes. And what could be more spooky than a Brazilian wax? I still remember before I ever got into the beauty industry and we were at Bunko. You and I were on the same Bunko in the same Bunko group and we were friends, but we didn't know each other really well yet. And I was so intrigued. I just wanted to know all the tea about everything. I remember always asking, well, so like who all gets Brazilians anyway? And you were like, there's doctors, lawyers, all types of people get them. And I was like, no, I mean, like, who gets Brazilians? Like, who would I know? And Laura was like, well, I don't just tell people's business. I mean, she was always so professional, so professional. And but I remember just wanting to know like all the nitty-gritty like details and stuff because I'd never had one, never, but I was so intrigued by it. I was like, this sounds so crazy. Like you're just in a room with another female and you're just like all in their business, like ripping their hair off. And anyway, but Laura always maintained the professionalism and never would come clean about anything. But all she would tell me was, well, there's this wax it's like a hard wax. And so you smooth it on there and then it just takes it all off. You don't have to use any paper or anything that like molds to the area and then you just pull it. So I remember just being so intrigued by that. And so that's all she really told me.
It's funny, so many different types of people come for Brazilians, and I guess, or people assume that it's like younger girls or, maybe athletes because they don't want to have to shave and they don't want the, like shadow of hair and that sort of thing. And definitely there are those people that come for waxing, but it is all types of people. I mean, grandmothers for sure. I'm sure grandfathers, just all sorts of people come in. And, you get to the point in your, once you've been doing them for a while too, that you're like, everybody's welcome. You're not like, it's just another body part. I mean, I know it kind of sounds
It is.
a little desensitized or whatever. And I guess you sort of do become a bit that way. But, I
Yeah.
always kind of there was a point in my career where I was like, oh, it's just kind of like somebody's face. That's their body part, their mouth.
Mhm.
You're seeing these things.
Mhm.
A lot of times, like people come in, and I've never heard another esthetician say this before. So I'm wondering if, please put some notes in the comments if this is something that happens to you too. But I will run into people at the grocery store or at the farmer's market or wherever, and they'll come up to me and talk to me and say, "Oh, you're my esthetician." And I'm like, I am. Like, I have no idea who they are. And because I don't recognize their face. But if you come in and I see your vagina, I recognize who you are.
Mhm.
Or if I see
Yeah.
you laying there upside down, and I can see your
Yeah.
face upside
Yeah.
down, I'm like,
Exactly. Yeah.
that's who you are.
Yeah.
So I know sometimes
Hilarious.
people are probably like, she's so rude. She like doesn't say hi in public. It's because I don't know who you are unless you're laying down upside down. Or
Know who you are. Yeah.
if
Exactly.
you're a Brazilian client, then
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
Take your pants off.
So it's not so much that I'm
I love
like
that. That's so funny.
really good at keeping secrets about who people are. I just don't remember who people are.
No, you don't remember? I love it. Well, so then fast forward, I think, okay, so we were in this bunko group, and then fast forward, we've become pretty good friends at this point, and we go to Cleveland for a music festival. And I'm pretty sure it was in the summer. I want to say it was warm, and
Yeah, it was
so we
warm.
get there, and yeah, and so we have this great opportunity. It's before Murphy Arts District started fully. It's the same. I think it was the same year. I think it was like the spring right before it opened that fall. And
Yeah,
so we were going with Terry Stewart to this Laurel Fest in
yes,
Cleveland that he had told us all about, and we wanted to go and get ideas and all of that. So Austin and Mark, the four of us, went to Cleveland together for this trip, and we stayed at Terry Stewart's house. And we get there, and Austin and Mark have to go to work because they're getting all the ideas and they're seeing all the behind the scenes stuff. And so we're going to spend a day with Terry's friends. And so they have arranged for Laura and I to get in the car with Scott, who was a Cleveland native and knew all the hot spots and all the cool stuff to do. And he was going to take us to the coolest restaurant for lunch. And he did. He was amazing. And he had this
yeah.
Ford Mustang, and it was yellow. It was yellow, right? It was a yellow Ford Mustang.
Maybe it was
Or
yellow.
it
I
was
don't
red.
remember. Kind
I
of feel
can't
like it was red.
remember. I can't remember.
Maybe it was
It was
yellow.
very like, yeah, it was like a sports car.
Yeah,
And so he comes and
convertible.
picks us up. Yeah, convertible, top down. Okay, and if any of you know me, you know this is all like my worst nightmare. Like this is my worst nightmare. He picks us up with the top down, and we're like flying through Cleveland, and like I mean literally I feel like we're flying. I'm in the back seat. I think I had my hat on, and I'm like this, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
oh my God, we're on the interstate, flying in and out of, just weaving in and out of traffic. It is my worst nightmare. And I can look up and I can see the speedometer. And so I'm like, oh my God, I'm just freaking out because it says we're going like 120 or 150 miles per hour, something like that. And so I'm just freaking out. I'm like, I've never done this. I'm so scared. Oh my God, I just can't even look. It was horrible. And we, we get to lunch, and he takes us to an amazing sushi restaurant, which thank goodness there was a good outcome of this. And so we get there and we eat the most amazing sushi. It was so good. And I can't remember how you brought it up. I can't remember what you were saying. You were like, oh, that was so much fun. Like, this is Laura's, like, she loves all things scary and dangerous. She like, if we're on a plane and there's turbulence, she's like, oh, I love it. It's so fun. It's so fun. I'm just like, anyway, that is our personalities, and which is so much fun to see that dynamic with more together. But we get there, we start eating sushi, and you bring it up somehow. You're like, gosh, that was so much fun. Like, you drive so fast, but you were like in control, and that was just fun. And you were like, how fast were we going? And he says something, and then we realize
he's
that
like
it was, what
75.
was, like,
He's like kilogram or kilometers.
that's what it was.
Yeah, he was in a Canadian
Kilometers.
car. Yeah, he was in a Canadian
That's what it
car.
was.
We're both thinking, I'm like, woo, the thrill of a life. I'm going 120 miles an hour, and we're going like 75 or 80. like, you know.
Yeah, we were just going the speed limit. It's not really that big of a deal. And so we're at the sushi place. We're eating, having sushi. I think I'm probably 2 glasses of wine in or something because we get this brilliant idea. We leave the sushi place, and next door is a European wax center. And Laura says, "Oh, well, let's just go get a wax. I need a wax." And I was like, I had never had a wax. I still had not had a wax. I was very intrigued by it, but I had never done it. And so I was like, oh, gosh, here we go. Like, what am I getting myself into in Cleveland for whatever reason? So we go into the European Wax Center, and Laura's done this a million times. She's already waxed people a million. I haven't even been to cosmetology school at this point, or maybe I was in. I can't remember. But I had definitely not ever had a Brazilian. This was my first experience. And I go into the room, and this huge, like, German lady, like, I mean, it's like 6'5", like, big, like, I mean, Olga type of person comes in, and she's like, "Okay, what you got? You drop your, and I'm like, "Okay, here we go." And she said, "Oh, too short. I can't wax that. I can't wax it." And she said, "Turn over." So I turned over, got on all fours, and she said, "Okay, I could do that. I do butt strip for you. That's what I do, butt strip." That's exactly what she called it. And I said, "Okay, sure."
Yeah.
So my first Brazilian was really just a butt strip, but it was fine. I mean, I survived it and came out of it, and that poor Scott. What did Scott do while we were doing all this?
I think he just drove around or something. Maybe went to a bookstore. I can't remember, but he came back and picked us. We called him. He came back and picked us up. It's so funny. Oh my goodness. That poor guy. He was like,
Like,
what did he get himself into with us?
I know that was
That was so funny.
funny. Oh my gosh, that was a crazy adventure. But
Yeah.
that was wild. But lots of
Yeah.
fun, and we had so much fun afterwards. I don't remember if it was that day or the day after. We ended up going to Laurel Fest, and still one of my favorite festivals that I've ever been to. We got to see St. Paul and the Broken Bones, and he was such a cool guy, and we got to be backstage with him, all that, and I still listen to him to this day and think about it. It was like picture perfect. And Laura and I just had so many ideas from that, and we were so hopeful. We both got our hair braided and fixed really cute under one of the tents there. Did we get little face
Little
paint maybe or something? We got
little
something.
sparkly put on,
Yeah.
outdoor concert makeup, that fun makeup, festival
Yes.
makeup. It was fun. And then we took that back for
It
grand
was
opening and
very
did
like
that.
Coachella.
Yes, it had that vibe for
We
sure.
did.
It was really awesome. It was really awesome. Yeah. It's funny too, like,
Yeah,
you talk
that was
about,
fun.
yeah, that was a fun trip. Cleveland is great in the spring, man. It's cold in the winter, but it's so lovely when the weather's just decent. It is just beautiful. I love going to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Every time we've gone, I've had the best time ever. I think it was that trip that we actually missed our plane. Remember, we were in Atlanta, and for some, of course, you go from, I think we flew out of Monroe, and then we went all the way to Atlanta to go
Yeah.
all the way to Cleveland, which is funny.
Yes.
But
Yes.
we got to Cleveland, and we were determined to go to Ludacris's restaurant at the airport. Do you remember this?
Was it chicken and waffles or chicken and
I don't
something?
remember.
Yeah.
Chicken and beer, maybe? Chicken and beer? I'm not sure. But
Yeah.
we
I think that's what
we
it
knew
was. Yeah.
we knew we didn't have time, but we were like, you know what, we're gonna go. So we took off to the other end of the airport to, and then we took a picture with Ludacris's. He
Yeah.
was coming to Mad, and
That's
so
right.
we
He was
took a
coming to the
picture.
grand opening.
Yeah, so we took a picture with his, and we're like, look who we ran into at the airport. And people posted it on Facebook, and people were like, oh my gosh, you ran into him. And we're like, it's just a cardboard cutout. But yeah, we missed our plane, and so we flew into another nearby city to Cleveland to then rent a car and
Oh,
drive
that's right. It had to
into
rent a
Cleveland.
car. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
That was, that was crazy. I remember that. I could still, Oh my gosh.
We go on
that
these-
was,
we go on
had
crazy
some
adventures.
Crazy adventures.
Many we can't talk about on this podcast because they might not have been legal. No.
We have done some
No,
crazy things, and luckily we get away with it all.
Yeah, Thelma and Louise, for sure.
Yes.
So it's
For sure.
it's funny that you brought up the butt strip. Oh, I'm sorry. I was about to talk about the butt strip. So the butt strip,
Go ahead.
it's amazing. It doesn't hurt. The butt strip. People are always
It
like,
is. No.
I don't want to have that done. And I'm like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. That's really,
Yeah. It
the area
doesn't
you
even
do want to
hurt.
have. It doesn't hurt at all. It's the weirdest thing in the world. I wonder what that is because it is, you would think that that would hurt, but it doesn't. It doesn't at all.
It's it's like you're desensitized that back there. I don't
Mm.
know. It's like I don't know.
Yeah.
The nerve endings are just not as sensitive at all.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. So
there
really,
was nothing to it. But
no, really tough area, I guess. Like it's like a strong,
hmm
strong butts,
strong butt. Yeah. But and it's so nice. Like that was the other thing that I didn't realize how great it was gonna be. It just feels so much cleaner and
Yeah.
just not like I don't know.
There is
So
nothing like
I
a
highly
good
recommend it.
Yeah, good Brazilian, good bikini wax. You don't have to shave. If you get into the pool a lot, you go swimming during the summer, it's just a must have. And then once you get them,
hmm
we have these different, just to get too technical, this isn't very scary, but we have our 3 stages of hair growth. And so you have your one stage that the hair is going to fall out pretty soon. It's just, that follicle is going to fall out. And then you have another where the hair's growing, it's in that growing state. And then you have the new hair that's right under the surface that's starting to come out. Well, when you
hmm
wax it, you get pretty much all 3 stages of hair growth. So when it comes back, it's just that first stage. So then it becomes even thinner. So every other time you get waxed, it's
Yeah.
not as painful, So if you just keep it up,
hmm
you can not have as much pain, which I don't really feel like they're that painful anyway. I feel like they're not, but some people do. I tell you, I have some stories of some screamers.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
a screamer. I mean I love the result, but I am not a good Brazilian candidate because it hurts me so bad. I just feel like it hurts so bad. I don't mind the butt stroke, but the hurts
The
so
rest of
bad.
it.
I've
Yeah.
done it several times. I will say that I've never kept it up I've always heard you need to keep it up for 6 months at least
Hmm.
so that you finally get to that stage where it doesn't hurt. But mine always hurts so bad, so I'm just nope, can't do it. But I probably haven't found the right person.
That's true. The wax, a lot of it's in the wax, what kind of wax they use. And then a lot of
Mhm.
it is in paying
Mhm.
attention to when you schedule your wax. So you don't want to go in the week before, like your period, because you have more inflammation and it is
Mhm.
more painful. If you can go the week after your period or 2 weeks after, that's the best for women to go for Brazilians. You really shouldn't take pain medication prior because it can cause some bleeding. That's little tricks. I've had some screamers, man. Those screamers, they'll run out your business, won't they? The
Yeah.
screamers will get the people out of the facial rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to schedule your screamers when there's not another relaxing treatment going on next door for sure. This sweet lady, she would come to me in Fayetteville, Arkansas, when I very first got started doing Brazilian waxing and bikini waxing. I didn't really ever learn it in school, but when I got to the salon that I was working at, they taught it, which goodness gracious, that's a whole other episode about taking your first Brazilian class and your poor model is so funny. What those poor ladies go through and gentlemen go through to teach us how to be our models while we're waxing. But this lady had been I had been waxing for a while, and she came to me and she was pregnant and she came to me, very regularly for her waxing. And as her belly was growing and becoming more further and further along in her pregnancy, and every time, and I thought maybe it was because she was pregnant, she would just scream, these little, she would just kind of lose it with it. So, and I tell you, she actually came to me when I think she didn't tell me she was in labor, but she was in labor.
My
She literally
God.
left the salon and went to the hospital and had her baby. Like this, she's dedicated to those Brazilian waxes.
Wow. It's good to do right before birth. I mean, really.
Oh yeah, yeah. You don't have to worry about that at all. But it's so funny. Well, years later, so we had, lived in Fayetteville for several years. We moved to Georgia. Austin was teaching at a school in Georgia and lived there for several years. And then when he got his position at MAD, we moved to El Dorado. Well, one day, so it gets back to recognizing vaginas. or people upside down. This lady comes in and she looks kind of vaguely familiar, but I thought, oh, she's probably somebody I've seen around town at Walmart or whatever. And she lays down. I go in the room and she, does that. We do the butterfly thing that you do. And I start to put the wax on and I'm like, recognize her right off the bat. And then I remembered this is fall Maine. I remember she's a screamer, but maybe it's because she was pregnant when,
Yeah.
well, that's
Yeah.
why. So, I got to pull that first strip and she lets out the biggest scream. And I was like, ah, he does a facial going on next
My
door.
God. That's so
So
funny.
she had moved to El Dorado. Isn't that funny? And then
That is crazy.
yeah. So I'm like, my goodness, I waxed you in Fayetteville. And she was so happy. She's like, I'm so grateful. She's like, I found you. I can't believe, I moved to El Dorado and you moved to El Dorado. So that was really cool. But yeah, she was,
Crazy.
yeah. People are so, I mean, I've had people that you would not expect. You think, this is a tough lady, and you go and they're hardly any hair. And you go and
Yeah.
pull a strip and they're just like crying or
Yes.
even worse, go, let's stop. I've only had this happen
Oh, yeah.
twice, and they were both super tough ladies. I would not have expected either one of them to say stop. These are
Yeah.
women that have
Yeah.
gone through childbirth, but stop, and then they leave half done. They're like lopsided. Like,
She have to keep going. I
you
have
gotta
done
keep.
that before, though. I have done that. Yeah, I have.
Oh,
I'm just like, because it's like that bottom part for me that is the worst. And so they would do like the top part, and I was like, okay, I'm good. As long as you've got that, I'll get the rest with a razor. I'm good because I just couldn't take it. It hurts.
yeah.
Yeah.
It does hurt. It's one of those things, though. It's like, to me, I would expect it to hurt more than it actually hurts. So I guess
Uh-huh.
that's why I'm able to kind of deal with it. But then I also get them very regular. So, like, I guess I
Yeah.
kind of have gotten used to, and then the hair growth isn't as much as
Yeah.
what it was before when it hurt more. I have also experienced the opposite of that. And I'm sure you have too, where you have these ladies that come in and they don't say a word. They don't flinch. They even just continue talking to you in the regular breath and pattern. And you're like, I mean, it hurts a little. Like, it's okay to
Yeah.
be like, oh,
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
ooh,
And they just don't even, yeah, I have had women like that.
they don't flinch. And then those people, I'm like, wow.
What is going on with you? Yeah. I've had them just be on their phone the whole time, like doing work. Like they're like full on, writing out proposals. And, I'm just like,
I've had that too. I had a lady doing Christmas shopping and, and then asking me, she's like, do you think this would be good for my, my kids? And like, her daughter is a year younger than my daughter. So she's wanted to know, like helping her, and I'm sitting there helping her shop. And I'm like, this is so funny.
it's crazy. Yeah.
And if you want, I mean, gosh, estheticians listening out there, if you're at all on the fence about learning Brazilians, and it's really not as scary
No,
as it seems. And it
it's
does
not.
seem scary, but it's really not. And it is a good money maker. I mean, once you get good at it, people really trust you and
Yeah.
they want, but you do have to be that, definitely go and learn how to do them and use some good wax and no skimping, no double dipping, all the things, make the person comfortable. I mean, you can really do well. Brazilians
And
for sure.
something else with that, I would just add to that. Look and see if you've got like a small town close to you that might be like an hour away or 30 minutes away, and see if you could go there like once a month or once, until you build up a clientele. But so what we do in El Dorado, because El Dorado is such a small community and women there they don't want to run into me at Walmart after I've done it's just kind of an awkward thing. And so I have somebody that actually comes from Little Rock to my spa and rents a room 1 day a month, and she has a full clientele. And it's all these, and she says, I mean, it's easy work. She can do one in 20 minutes. So she does about 10, anywhere from like 10 to 13, and charges almost $100 each. And that's a good payday. And she usually comes like on a Sunday. So she'll just drive to El Dorado, do her clients, take, more than $1,000 home with her, and she's home before dark. I mean, that's easy money. And I promise you it works because those people don't have to worry about running into you. They don't know you. You're a stranger. you're this professional that comes in from a larger town, all of those things. It's a crazy dynamic, but it works. And so
Yeah.
I would encourage you to look into that if you're feeling like you're not getting booked out where you're at.
And I do, living in El Dorado and doing waxing in El Dorado, I did have that come across as an issue where people would say, they'll they definitely want to come to me for all their facial services and other body waxing services. But when it came to those intimate areas, they were like, I
Mhm.
just, when I'm in Little Rock, I just have it done on Little Rock because
Yeah.
we're friends, we see each other, and,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
it doesn't, never bothered me.
Mhm.
But I understand totally that. And so that is a great solution to that problem, to bring in an out of town person. That's perfect. Do you
Yep.
have, or do you know what type of wax she uses?
She uses Mermaid wax, and I had never
Mermaid
heard
wax.
of that until her, but it is amazing. And so since then, that's all I use for my hard wax too. It's really, really good.
Okay,
And they
I'm
do
gonna look.
like a ambassador program where if you use their products, they give us like a discount and all this kind of stuff. So she's an ambassador with them. So now I can order through her and get that discount. Definitely
I
check
like
that
that.
out too, the ambassador program that they offer.
Okay, yeah, perfect. I will definitely
Yeah.
check that out. The Mermaid wax.
Mhm.
I've
Yeah.
used Cirepil for years. Just that's
Mhm.
what this
Yeah.
first spa that did
Yeah.
Brazilians where I worked. That's what they use, Cirepil, and I love it. I've used it,
Yeah.
but I have tried the Bushbalm wax
Uh-huh.
also, and that one, man, it's really nice too.
Really? I love their
Yeah,
branding. Their branding looks amazing.
yes, yeah. So I definitely, recommend. I haven't used it as much as Cirepil,
Mhm.
but I'm not, I'm going to try some. I love trying new things, so I'll
Yeah.
probably continue going back to my Cirepil though,
Yeah.
just because it's tried and true, and I know
That's
it
what you're
very
used
well.
to.
So it's what I'm used to. So yeah.
Mhm.
So I have one of the scariest, creepiest ghost story wax experiences. If you want to hear it, are you guys
I'm
ready
ready.
for it?
Yes.
It's not really that scary of a story. It's a funny story.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. How am I gonna?
Did you
All
do
right.
one on a dead person? What is going on?
Oh, it was even worse. I did one on my mother-in-law.
Mm. Yeah, that would be very awkward. I love Lisa though. Lisa's so cool, but
And I'll tell you, it wasn't scary at all. It was totally fine. And I didn't do it for Celia. We just did a little bikini wax. So right before
gotcha.
her wedding, she came in and we did just a little bikini wax. That's not the scary part. It had nothing to do with the wax, actually. The scary part was I was learning how to do spray tan at the time. And yes, thank goodness she had, I think actually this wasn't before her wedding. This was before a vacation that she went on. We practiced the spray tans. We did the wax before her wedding, and then we did the spray tan before a vacation. So, and luckily it was a vacation where she could wear pants. So, yeah. So she comes to see me, and I'm learning how to do spray tan on this machine that the spa had bought at this place where I was working in Fayetteville. And it was after hours, it was at night, and so I had the key and was like, hey, let's go up and do a spray tan. I'm learning how to do spray tans. It's for before your vacation. It'll be great. And she's like, yeah, she's all excited. So we go up, and it's, after hours. Normally the parking lot is just open. I've never paid attention to the signs because I could just park there. So I parked in the parking lot. We went inside, and I think we did a facial to begin with. And then I did her spray tan, and it looked great. It looked fantastic. Right after doing it, that cosmetic was just glowing. Her skin looked great. She was like, well, that looked easy enough. I'll do one on you. So she spray tans me, and we lock up. Anybody that does spray tans knows that it's more difficult than just, that. But
Way more
yeah.
difficult.
So we lock up the spa and we walk out. Of course, after spray tans, usually you kind of like have on like your sundress and not really your bra. So we walk out of the spa. We're totally barefoot, holding our shoes, walking towards the car. We get to where the car's supposed to be in this empty parking lot. My car's gone. There's no car. There's no car.
No.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I've already set the alarm, like walk away because the doctor, the place where I worked, he said, just, push the walk away button. I don't know the security code, so we can go back in and like wait in the spa. So we're
No.
standing there, no vehicle, no way to get back inside, without setting the alarm off. So she calls, she's like, well, what do we do? And then we see a sign, the tow truck driver's phone number. that's like, you can't park here after a certain time. I just never thought to look. So she calls the tow truck driver and he comes to pick us up. Couple of braless, shoeless ladies that are gradually turning orange. We're getting oranger and oranger. So he picks us up and takes us to this. And this is not like, I mean, Fayetteville's a beautiful city, but I'm telling you, this tow, it was the scariest place. There were a couple of men that were in the tow, facility that were smoking cigarettes. There was a baby, um, like playpen in this, like, who leaves their baby with these men? It was like a haunted house. Like we had entered the twilight zone, and we're
No.
turning oranger and oranger. Like we're getting darker because we need to take a shower. Like after you've had this spray solution on for like an hour, you're supposed to take a shower. Well, at this, this product that we were using, which was obviously not a very good spray tan. So anyway, so we get the car, we get back to my house. At this point, she and I are both not even orange. We're like burnt sienna. And she's going on vacation. I'm like, oh my God. Of course she's being so sweet. She's being so sweet. She's like, I mean, she and I get into some similar situations that you and I get into. Like, seriously, we should never, the three of us, go anywhere.
No.
There was another time, years ago, we lived in Chicago and she came out to visit us and I picked her up at the airport by way of the train.
Yeah.
So it would go right into the airport, which was really cool. You get onto the L train and then it would drive us, around Chicago to our neighborhood, which was so perfect. Well, Austin I think had a school obligation or something. So I went and got to her and it's just a neat experience. If you go to Chicago, like definitely take that L train. Don't take an Uber or taxi, do the L train. It's so fun. So we're like going through Chicago on this L train and it stops. And I think this is the stop, and I'm not sure. I think this is the stop, but I'm not sure. And the last thing I want to do is get Austin's mom lost in Chicago with her, her suitcase. And like, that would be terrible. So I'm like, no, let's not get off. We could always, get off the next one and go back to this one if we need to. This is all going through my head. Well, it obviously is not the right stop. So the next stop is Caprini Green. And I don't know if you are familiar with Caprini Green. Brandy, have you ever seen the movie Candyman?
Yeah.
That's shot in Caprini.
That's scary.
We get to the stop and I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to get off because now we're getting into deep Chicago. Like we're getting down into Chicago. So I'm like, okay, let's get off here and we'll get the next train. And I mean, they come every minute.
Yeah.
Those trains in Chicago, no big deal. We'll just walk down to the other side of the platform. We'll get on the train. So we do that. And the whole time I'm like, I'm not going to stay where we are. I'm not going to stay where we are. She's not noticing, I don't think, where we are. And then the train comes by and it doesn't stop. It keeps going. And I'm like, oh, next train comes by. Well, Lisa starts looking around and she's like, where are we? I'm like, we're in a scary spot of town. I'm sorry. So eventually a train stops. Eventually they stop. And so we get back to where we live in Chicago and we survived that. But she loves telling that story. And then we love telling the story where we turn each other orange.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, no, she's a lot of fun. She's a lot of fun. So I just think it's funny, like that, a lot of people don't get along with their mother-in-laws as well as I do. So like a funny little things like the time I waxed my mother-in-law. But no, it wasn't it. I very rarely actually had scary experiences with, Brazilian clients. And, most of the time people come in and they are so grateful to have the service done. They're not looking to be ugly or be obnoxious or anything like that. So yeah, I've had some interesting ones though. Have you had like any interesting people come in for waxing that you can think about?
Yeah. For me, I think it was more, I just didn't enjoy it because I felt like I was inflicting pain on people and I didn't like that part. And so I would get really hot and sweaty and I would be like just pouring sweat for them. And so I just don't think I was like aggressive enough to like rip, and I felt like I was slow at it and I just never found like a rhythm with it. Now I could have, if I would have stayed with it, I think in the beginning, I was just trying to do too many things because I wanted to be good at everything. I was still in that mentality that like, well, I can do everything. I can be really good at lashes. I can be really good at facials. I can be really good at Brazilians. And then I'll go in the back and do hair and I'll be amazing at all these things. Yeah, it really doesn't work that way. So for me, I was just
No.
like, okay, what do I enjoy doing? And I found that I really only enjoyed doing the things that I was really good at. So that's why I just stuck with lashes and facials because those were the two things that I knew I felt confident in. And people were actually like, "Oh, I really love these lashes. Oh, you are so good." Like, all those things. And I just never really felt that with Brazilians, but I think it was mostly because I had so much self-doubt and I was terrified to hurt them. So that was my thing. But I can't remember any like crazy stories about waxing other than just probably not doing the best job. Like I don't think I don't think anybody was ever like, "Ooh, yeah, this is the best Brazilian I've ever had." I never had that. So I just didn't, like I said, it never really was for me, I don't think. I did have a funny one though when I trained someone on how to do them, and then the girl that I have that comes from Little Rock, trained her as well. So she was in there in the room for her very first one by herself. She had done several, with us in the room, but this was her first one by herself as somebody that worked for me. And she's in there for about 30 minutes. And for some reason, I just happened to be up front that day. And so I knew she was in there and I'd already told her, if you get into a mess, just call me and I'll come try to do something, but I wasn't very good at them either. And she had been in there about 30 minutes and I hear her leave the room and she's like coming down the hallway and she said, "I need scissors." And I was like, "Scissors for what? Why do you need scissors?" She was like, "Just, I need scissors." And so I hand her the scissors. I don't know what's going on. So the lady comes out and she leaves. She seems fine. Everything seemed fine. But the employee was just mortified. She was pouring sweat. I mean, she had her big reading glasses on and she just looked mortified. She said, "I don't know. I've never seen so much hair in my life." She was like, "That was so much hair." And she said the only thing I could think to do after just ripping and ripping and ripping and ripping, there was still long hair. So the only thing I could think to do is just get in there and start trimming. That was a kind of crazy one that I didn't have to experience, but I felt so bad for her because that looks like an ordeal. So, and after that, she never did another one. She said, take me off Brazilians. I do not want to do them anymore." So we did. And yeah, it's just one of those things. I think you just have to stick with it. Just keep doing it and have lots of really good friends
Yeah.
that'll let you practice on them because that's the other thing is like, you're only going to get good at something by doing it. I do have a funny one about our good friend Emily, and she won't care that we're talking about her because she's just hilarious. So when I first started working at Spa in Maine, Emily, I think I think she wasn't the spa manager anymore, but she was the spa manager at the spa that Laura owned that I worked at. And so Emily came in one afternoon for something for a service, and I did her service, and for some reason I really wanted my butt waxed and there was nobody else there and I said, "You think you could wax my butt for me, Emily? I'll show you how to do it." And Emily's just always up for whatever. She's like, "Yeah, yeah, I got you. All right, what do I need to do?" I mean, she's just like putting the gloves on. She's ready to go. So
I
she
remember
did.
this.
Story.
There's a picture. There's a
Oh
picture.
yeah, we
Not
do
of your
have a
butt.
picture. Not of my butt. But I'm laying flat on my stomach and like I have this look on my face and Emily's in the background with the wax stick.
I got this text. I'm like, what are they doing? And what are they doing? But it was so funny.
Great.
It's so funny.
It's
I'm sure she
just
did a
so
great job.
She did. She did great. I mean, totally.
Yeah.
Joanna and I were talking about this the other day. I mean, Joanna totally should have been a massage therapist. And I really think that Emily would have been an amazing esthetician. She really, and it's not too late for either one of them. And I keep telling them that. I'm like, hey, it's never too
Yeah.
late. But yeah,
I know. I
anyway,
can move. Hey, we can move. I can move back to Arkansas. We can open a big spa.
come on.
All of it.
I mean, yes. Gosh, we could be
So
like
fun.
what is that?
It's so fun.
The Magnolias or whatever that TV show
Yeah.
is.
Oh, that's such a
Yeah.
cute show.
Yeah, we could
That is
definitely do
such a
it.
cute show. I love that show. I relate to that
Yeah.
show so well.
Yeah.
watch it and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I've totally had that situation.
Yeah.
So it's the cutest thing. Yeah, that is so funny. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
but I do want to say I did get my mother-in-law's permission to also tell her story. So we don't share names normally, and Emily will not
Oh,
care.
no,
Emily will
she
not
will
care.
not care.
So
No.
yeah, I have a funny one. I had this client in Fayetteville again. I guess I had a lot of so I just gotten started in the beauty industry and got into this spa, and it was kind of one of those. It was an Aveda salon. It was lovely. We did Aveda facials and we did waxing and we did all sorts of stuff. We did something called the Razorback wax. We had a cookie cutter that was shaped like an Arkansas Razorback, and we would use that and make a stencil, and you could be left behind with a little Razorback. But one thing that they did, yes, and we had basketball players and football players that would come in and do their legs. They would leave a little
Okay,
Razorback behind on their leg. Yeah, which is really fun.
cool.
The Razorback
Yeah.
wax. We had more of that than we did women that wanted a Razorback left behind. Because sometimes you do get people that come in that are a little too hairy. You kind of want that hair to be no longer as long as a grain of rice. So one thing that this salon did that I worked for in Fayetteville is they had something called a little peanut shaver that you used for like
Yeah.
trimming hair on like
Mm-hmm.
family's hair. That we would keep in the aesthetics room because you do sometimes get people that come in that are a little too hairy, like you were saying. So nice little tidbit for estheticians out there. Get yourself one of those little peanuts
Yeah.
is what they're called, and you can kind of shave down the hair a little bit. Of course, you want to keep the hair. It's like no shorter than a grain of rice, but not too much longer than a grain of rice. Also, so and then when people call to schedule them, you can even say to them, I always liked it when the front desk would say, please make sure that your hair is no longer than a grain of rice, but not shorter than a grain of rice, like about the
Mm-hmm.
same as that. So that way they would go ahead and do their own trimming at home. So we're not in there trying to do too much and then losing time. So other than the Razorback wax that we did there, I had some interesting clients for sure that the um, came through the spa area. I had one lady, and she was one of those stoic. She was a grandmother. She was very gray haired, but kind of she looked like she could be an English teacher or something. She always had the flowing scarves on and just smelled like patchouli and was just like one of these like, you could tell she read, she would use big words. She had a big vocabulary and she was just a really interesting person. And she would come through and I just figured, that she's probably a professor at the U of A. Whatever, that's just my
Yeah.
assumption, and it's like you cannot read a book by its cover. Well,
No.
as we got to know each other over the course of months and years, she started opening up about her profession and what she used to do before she retired. And she was a porn star, and I am not kidding.
It's crazy.
Talk about, I was floored. I didn't believe her. I went home and Googled and was like, oh my gosh, she was a porn star. Like she's done lots of movies. So she was cool. But she is interesting, man. She talked about literature, about authors and books that she was reading and, these trips she had gone and museums she had explored. And who you just do not know. You just do
No,
not know.
you
It's
don't.
so fun.
Never judge a book.
Yeah. No, no. So those are our nice little Halloween time stories. None of them were super spooky other than getting lost in Caprini Green, I think.
Yeah.
They're all pretty fun. This business is a fun adventure for sure. And I am so glad that I found my way into it.
Oh, for sure. Me too. I don't know where I'd be without it. I love it so much. It's so entertaining for sure. Every day is an adventure.
Well, if you want to hear more from Laura and Brandy, and Pretty Smart too, just please remember to like, subscribe, and share with your SD besties. And we look forward to seeing you all again soon in the coming future. And have a very happy Halloween.
Yay. See you next week.